Okay, I show that it's 11 o'clock and we'd like to respect your time and go ahead and get started at this time. I do like seeing all of you faces, and there's several names on here that I recognize. There are a couple of schools that we would like to recognize real quick. I believe the Gans Grizzlies are here. Is that right? I think I saw them earlier. Sign on, and we always welcome classrooms. We love to see the students participate in this. And then also the Fort Supply 7th graders way out in Northwest Oklahoma. Welcome to you too. All right, we'd go ahead and get started at this time. Good morning. And on behalf of the Oklahoma Department of Career Tech, we'd like to welcome you, and on behalf of Dr. Marcy Mack, our state director, welcome to our virtual Oklahoma Education and Industry Partnership Professional Development Series. My name is Delbo Leach. I'm a regional coordinator, and as regional coordinators, we serve as a liaison between the state agency and the school administrators across Oklahoma. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our OEIP team and regional coordinators. Gina Hubbard is our division manager, if you would wave. Regional coordinators with us today on our team are Kara Pattison, Karen Talbot, and Whitney Blaylock. And also a regional coordinator in the biz area, we have Lori Lawfer, and the manager in that area is Max McKnight. And if that's who I saw that was on here when we started. So if anyone else came on from our team, from the regional coordinators, give me a shout out so I'll know. Okay, if this is your first OEIP experience, we welcome you. Also those of you that have participated in the past. This year, for the first time, we're offering the OEIP experience monthly for 1-hour sessions throughout the 2021 school year. This is our 4th OEIP for the year, and if you've missed out on the previous OEIPs this year, just provide us your contact info in the chat, and we can send you the links to YouTube to view the past ones at your convenience. Our goal is to provide insight for educators to better understand what industry needs are in Oklahoma in hopes of preparing the students to develop a career pathway toward personal success. Now, before introducing our presenters today, we'd like to say a special thank you to our sponsors that have supported the OEIP effort this year. Those sponsors are now listed on your screen, and they are the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, Mid-America Industrial Park, Northeast Tech, Oklahoma Business Roundtable, Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, Oklahoma Career Tech, and HIMSOL. Those sponsors listed on your screen are providing a $50 gift certificate to one lucky registered winner participating in today's session. And we will announce that winner at the end of the session today. And so now let's get started with today's OEIP. Our highlight session today features HIMSOL Manufacturing, which is located in Mid-America Industrial Park in Pryor, Oklahoma. And to introduce our presenters today, we have Mr. Scott Fry. And Scott is the Director of Workforce Development at Mid-America Industrial Park. Scott, welcome, and the show is yours now.
Thank you, Debo. Well, it's a pleasure to be with everyone this morning. It's great to see so many folks on the screen and being with us to learn more about HIMSOL and what they do here at the Mid-America Industrial Park. So first, I would just like to say thank you to Delbo and Gina and their team at Career Tech for making this happen. And I'm sure there's probably many of you guys out there that have participated in the in-person summer events of OEIP. And unfortunately, like a lot of things this past year, that wasn't able to happen due to COVID. But they shifted and created a virtual event, and it was so well received. They've continued to do these monthly, and it's just really exciting to be able to be a part of this and push out, information like this across the state about the companies that make Oklahoma what it is. And so it's my pleasure to get to introduce the corporation, the company that you'll be hearing from today, and the featured speaker, Mr. Doug Harris. So Hemsaw is an industrial bandsaw manufacturer located here at the Mid-America Industrial Park. The company was founded in 1964 and moved to Mid-America in 1961. And today they have 3 locations here at Mid-America Industrial Park where they're producing the saws, and you guys are going to see some of the inner workings of that operation today. And so Doug Harris is president and CEO of Hemsaw, and Doug has been responsible for all facets of the business for over 15 years. He started out with the company in 1982 as a design engineer before transitioning to the regional sales manager in 1985. Harris then began to move through the sales ranks, achieving national sales manager in 1989. He was vice president of sales in 1984 and became president of Hemsaw in 2003, and then CEO and principal owner in 2005. So one thing I do want to point out about Doug's path through his ranks at Hemsaw, his dad founded the company. And so I think you can see through his experience there, he wasn't given anything. And you'll get to meet Max, his son, today. And I think it's a similar approach in Max's grooming. So Mr. Harris is, and Hemsaw is implementing the latest technology and manufacturing methods available today to ensure that Hemsaw remains competitive in the marketplace and continues to provide high quality bandsaws. Prior to working to Hemsaw, or at Hemsaw, Mr. Harris served 2 years in the United States Army. He worked for National Semiconductor in Silicon Valley as a support engineer for research and development, and was a professional river guide in various locations before moving to Oklahoma. Mr. Harris graduated from San Jose State University in 1980 with a dual bachelor's degree in industrial and systems engineering. He serves on a variety of boards and community organizations, including Workshop for Warriors, which is a program that serves veterans in machining trades. First Priority Bank is a member of the Metal Services Center Institute, the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, Association for Manufacturing Technology, and is also the chairman of the Mid-America Business Leaders Association. So Harris considers himself a coach whose job is to motivate and assist his employees into becoming and being the best they can be, even if it means stepping out of their comfort zones to discover their full potential. Mr. Harris applies the same outlook to all aspects of his life, as well as his hobbies of collecting and racing automobiles, flying planes, competitive swimming, and being an avid outdoorsman. So you can see Mr. Harris is a very busy man, and we really appreciate him taking time out of his day to spend it with us. And so with that, Doug, the screen is yours.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this meeting. We really appreciate the opportunity to give you some real insights to what we do here at Hemsaw, and also in manufacturing. For a lot of years, I think people thought manufacturing as either a dirty word, or they had thought about sweatshops or other things, and it is so far removed from that. This video you're going to see today was produced here at Hemsaw, and it'll give you a little bit of snippet of just some of the areas where people go to work to or at after high school or college. We have everything from welding positions to electrical, which you're gonna see various machining, computer programming, writing languages for computer, which is my son's involved with the IT portion and the engineering portion. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video, see what we do, and then I'll kind of go into a lot more depth of what we do, our philosophies at Hemsaw, and the type of opportunities that'll be out there for people. Hello, I'm Doug Harris, President and CEO of Hemsaw. Hemsaw is a family-owned company, and we've been in business since 1964. It's the American dream. We started in the garage in Livermore, California, and we moved to Oklahoma in 1976. When we first moved here, we only had 12,000 square feet, but today we have over 300,000 square feet. And what I plan to do today is to take you on a tour through our East facility so we can take a look at how machines are made from the raw material till the end product. First thing that we have to do in the build process is start with raw material. And then we're going to saw it. And after it's sawed, we're going to take it to our machining centers. And that's the very beginning process of the build. Now I'm going to take you through the machining process. Here we have Jeff. Jeff is the manager of our East facility. He's over the machine shop in the fab shop. And Jeff is going to explain to you exactly what's going on here.
So this is a tabletop for our LM3 saws. And what we'll do is we'll cut up all the pieces from raw stock form and then weld it up. After it's been welded up, we'll take it over to our Marasiki machine, our large vertical machine, set it up, fly cut the top, put tapped holes in it, and then inspect this piece for it to get fitted and welded again.
Very cool.
Hi, my name is Fred Spodnick. I'm a machinist here at Hemsaw. I've been machining here for right at 12 years. I've been a machinist for almost 22. Yeah, right after I graduated high school, I got into building cabinets, and I didn't make a lot of money with it. There was a friend of mine that said, hey, he was a supervisor at a shop, and said, you ought to come out here, we can get you into a job, make some money, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm happy with my choice to get into machining because I've learned a lot over the years of doing it. I enjoy making parts that are used every day in lots and lots of industries, taking raw material and ended up with a usable part, something that's necessary for what we do every day. The time that I've been here, I really enjoy working for Hemsaw. The people that I work with are great. I really couldn't ask for much more.
Over here, I see we have a tremendous amount of parts, just a ton of inventory. So Jeff, tell me about this.
So this is our staging area. So all the parts that are machined, bent, or saw cut will come over here to get staged, to get ready to be welded up. So this part over here is what it turns out to be after we get done kitting it. Take it over the weld shop and then weld it all up.
I see over here we have some flat stock. It looks like it's already been cut on the laser. So Jeff, go ahead and tell me about this process all the way through. Please explain it.
So over here, we take flat plate, put it on our laser, cut it to whatever we need to, whatever that print wants. And then what we're gonna do is we'll lift it up, take it over here to our press brake, bend it, and then get it ready to be fitted and welded.
So I see these pieces, Jeff, over here. Looks like they've been lasered out, holes put in it, and then bent. Well, that's beautiful.
Yes.
And all made here in America. Jeff, I can see that this looks like it's already gone through the press brake. So tell me about this arm.
All right, so what we got here is we've got certain bent pieces and machine pieces. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fit all these parts up, tack it, and weld it up to our vertical saw.
Very cool. So Jeff, in looking at this arm, this is incredible, the size of all of this. So why don't you tell them a little bit about this one?
What we have here is a WF-160 arm column. And what Eric is doing here is he is making sure everything is level and straight. Once everything is level and straight, he's going to tack it up and weld it to be a final product for arm.
You can see he really takes a lot of pride in his work.
Oh, absolutely, because it's made in America.
Every day I come to work, I try to put out my best weld. I learned how to weld in high school. I took a Ag Power and Technology class. Back then, we welded a lot of farm equipment like hay rings, gates, trailer hitches. I like manufacturing because it's challenging, not only physically but mentally, and I like looking at a finished product knowing that I built that. Another thing about this job is it's not just welding. I review the model, I review the prints, and then I pull measurements and fabricate the parts to meet engineered specifications. I like working at HEMSAW because it pays well and because it's not repetitive. I work on different things every day. When I'm not at work, I like spending time at the river, working on cars, and spending time with my family.
Over here, we have our brand new paint facility. Everything in it is new to the process of building. And I see we have a giant booth down here. What are we doing there?
Yeah, so that's our paint booth. And what we'll do is we'll fit large parts in there, put them in, and paint them up so everything stays in there and nothing comes out and nobody gets hurt by the fumes.
Over here, what we have is a brand new paint line that we're putting in. What we have in that is automatic painting, and it's also furnaces to heat the materials and to dry the paint extremely quick. We hope to have this up and running by Q1 or Q2 of this next year. Over here is our electrical shop. Since we're vertically integrated, we build everything here for our customers and for our equipment. My son Max can go ahead and take you through what we are doing in here.
In here, we're a full UL 508A panel shop, so that allows us to fabricate our control systems. We have an electrical engineering department that's responsible for actually fabricating and designing some of our systems. We then also get into board work that we do for some of our older systems. We still fabricate the components.
It's important that when you have an older piece of equipment that you can get parts, as well as a newer piece of equipment that can be customized for your needs.
When I was in high school, I just thought, all right, well, what I could either I could go to college, or I could maybe do electronics. I mean, with Tesla now, everything's going to that. It's not going to go away. And I like electricity because, I do find it fascinating. So I thought, let me check out this Votech, And so I looked into it, and you were able to take a 2-year program when I was a sophomore, and decided, all right, I'm gonna see if I could accept it, And I did. So I started in the basic electricity. I did some residential, commercial, industrial, motor controls, relays, programming, things like that. Then I realized, oh, I could do this. We have the Mid-American Industrial Park, This is one of the biggest industrial parks. There's jobs all over the place. And then I just kind of, I ended up moving around. There was some things that just needed to be done, So I just, I don't know, I go-getter, I guess. I like to stay busy. So I would just started kind of helping get things done. And before I knew it, I was building, switches. I was helping with the boards, testing the boards. I helped stripe and decal the saws. Learned how to use, the labeling machine. I like how I could take nothing, raw materials, put them together, wire everything, make it as neat as possible, and I'm at the end getting to see an awesome end product. Yeah, and just, it's kind of cool. We're building, we're putting the electronics together for an industrial-sized bandsaw. I mean, we got a saw that's cut a truck in half, We got a saw that's in the mint, We've got a saw that cuts bombs in half. And that, that's just really, it's pretty cool. And you'll see people just flock to a saw. We've literally been elbow to elbow working on the same thing to get it done. And I like that. And if anybody, runs into an issue, we're always helping each other, working together. I see people, you know, on lunch break out there driving a forklift, moving stuff around just so the next guy is going to have his parts to, you know, get things done with. The people are one of the best parts about working here. Just, you know, we can joke, we can kind of, you know, have a little bit of fun, but, you know, we're still professional. I'm just really thankful I get the chance and the opportunity to come into a place like that and to, you know, be a part of that.
In front of us, I noticed we've got a lot of components pre-kitted and ready to go out to our equipment. In our warehouse, I also noticed we've got tens of thousands of parts ready and available for all of our equipment, both new and old.
Over here, we have our small machine build area. These are where we build the small pivot style machines. And to our right, we're building a material handling system. This is for one of our customers for one of our larger machines that we'll take a look a little further on down the line. Over here, we have our vertical machine line. And Max, why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
So with the vertical machines, it allows for a double miter. So it's a 60-degree miters in two different directions. The reason for that is it allows us to do a lot more capability in a smaller package.
Here is our inspection area. Before any hem saw gets shipped out, it goes through inspection. The air machines are run for 4 hours. The hydraulic machines are run for 8 hours. But Max is going to explain some of the details that we go through before we ship a piece of equipment.
So with our equipment, as Doug said, we make sure to run our equipment for a length of time so that we make sure that there are zero problems when it leaves. We want to dial in all of our carbines. We want to dial in all of our components, as well as make sure all the hoses are run right, all the electrical lines are run right, so that it meets our high quality standards that we do here at HEMSAW.
After they're inspected, they're all wrapped and are ready to ship out on a truck. Because we do everything here at HEMSAW, one of the things that we'll do is take an old piece of equipment, this is an old WF-160, and rebuild it. Many times we've had a customer either have a fire or a tornado hit their shop or something has happened that got caught in a flood. They'll send the piece of equipment back in, and because we build here in the USA, we're able to take a machine like this, go all the way through it, and when we're done, it looks like new.
Not only do we have the capability of rebuilding and remanufacturing equipment here at HEMSAW, we also have a fantastic team of factory-trained service technicians located regionally throughout the U.S. This team is capable of going through and doing full installation, service, as well as preventative maintenance packages.
This is the V200. It's one of the larger saws that we build. It's our biggest mitering vertical. This is building 10, and building 10 is where we build our extremely large saws. This saw right here, when it's complete, will have a full material handling system with it. Max, go ahead and tell them a little bit about it.
So this structure here, as you can see, we have the gearbox on the top, which really allows for that same design philosophy as we have on our smaller machines. And because we design our equipment with the material handling in mind, we're even able to incorporate all of that directly into the same control structure. So it's just as simple as moving a switch.
The nice thing about it is everything is designed and built, so integration is very easy. We take care of it from start to finish, including the material handling system. Here is our H90A-1. This machine right here is an absolutely tried and true tested machine. We have thousands and thousands of them out in the field. One of the other things that we're extremely proud of is made in the USA. And that's one of the reasons we wanted you to see our company and what we do. We're very proud of made in the USA, and we're also equally proud of Workshop for Warriors. HEMSAW has been a supporter of Workshop for Warriors for many, many years. And what they do is when people come back out of the military, they need to transition for civilian skills. That could be either a welder or a machinist or a draftsperson or a designer. Workshops for Warriors is where they get training, and we're a very proud sponsor of them. Now we're in our research and development area. This area here, we're doing a lot of development work since we have an extensive engineering staff here at HEMSA. This is a double column machine that we're doing a lot of specialty things to the machine to make it a better piece of equipment. Over here we have a new prototype vertical we're working on.
My name is Colby Debo. I am an engineering intern here at HEMSA. I graduated from Pryor High School in 2016. I'm currently studying at OSU Tulsa. Here we are looking at SolidWorks, which is used to model our ideas and designs. Here we are looking at a new vise that will be used on a new vertical machine. We use VR to look at the part and visualize it, what it will look like in reality rather than a scaled model in SolidWorks to get a better idea of what it will look like. Once approved, it moves to our manufacturing facility where it gets machined to engineering specifications. Once painted, we install and test to certify that it works to our standards and engineering specifications. I am installing and testing the vice clamps, and that is currently where the project is at.
Thank you very much for taking this tour and seeing what we do here at HEMSA. We felt it's really important that you see we really do it from the very beginning to the very end of the build process. We do it here and it's made in the USA. I'd like to go ahead and turn this over to my son Max and let him give a few of his feelings.
Thank you guys for joining us. It's really been an honor to show our facilities off to you guys. And then we'll be here to answer any questions that you may have. If you come up with any questions after the Q&A session is over, please feel free to reach out at hemsa.com.
Remember, proudly made in the USA. I'll do.
Welcome to reach out at hemsa.com.
Gotta remember to suck my gut in.
We'll crop it, don't worry. Just hit the red stop share. Whatever. Red stop share.
Okay, I hope that gives everybody a kind of an, or not kind of, an idea of what we do here. And, you know, we really like to, I'm assuming everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. The Zoom meetings are a little more difficult for me because I don't have that interaction back and forth. I can't look at people's faces and tell exactly what's going on. But I'm hoping that it shows everybody what we do here, how we start with the raw product and we turn it into or the raw material and turn it into a product when it leaves. And we're very vertically integrated. So we do all of the different aspects. And, you know, it's even more than what we've showed. Like I mentioned, we've done the video inside. We have an advertising department. You know, when we advertise, we take a look at all the Google Analytics. We analyze exactly what we need to do. We've always had interns. We love to share our passion here, and it truly is a passion. And the more people that we can get excited about manufacturing in America, and I know our new president is all about made in America, and it's so important to us for economy, for people's jobs, for national security to be made here in the USA. More than happy to answer questions that I can. I can delve into more areas inside of the business. I'm just not sure what type of things people would like to know. So I'd love to take some Q&A, or I can speak more about different facets of the business.
Okay, do we have some questions? Any of you educators or students or biz people? Would you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask him? So, and if you would prefer to put it in the chat. I haven't been keeping up with the questions. Have there been any there, Gina or Karen? No? Okay. Anyone with any questions?
Hey, we've got a question from one of my students here. Sit down here, Sydney.
Okay.
Oh,
Ask for the HIMSOL guys.
what's the most fun thing that you've ever cut with the bandsaw thingy?
I would say when we cut the truck in front, that truck in half was a lot of fun. We also did some work for the Mint. So they actually brought in gold and silver in here for us to cut. And when we did that, we had to lay everything down because they had to account for every little piece of it. So when we laid it, we actually laid material down. So all of the chips were all collected up. The other interesting one is we did a machine for cutting material, giant ingots that were melted for Mexico coins. And when it was all mixed, they wanted to remint the material. The problem they ran into, there was so much counterfeit money that the ratios of materials were off, so they weren't able to do anything. But it was a real interesting project. And we did another one for a nuclear reactor or reactor material. And they had to get it. Now you can tell them about that one, Max, since you were so involved in it.
So on that one, they had to move the saw into an airlock because they're dealing with radioactive material. So we had to actually design the machine so you could split it into two pieces, and they'd come in spacesuits to reassemble it. It was a very, very fun project.
And then we crossed so many industries, anything from military to buildings to aerospace. There's a material called zirconium, and zirconium is highly flammable. And so it can actually ignite while it's being cut. So when we did all the test runoffs for the zirconium, the fire department had to be here. And if it happens, you can't put water on it, because if you put water on it, it burns even hotter. But that was another very, very interesting project.
That was an awesome question. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
We have another question that's in the chat from Gayla Miller. It says, do you offer on-the-job training, or just what type of education do you like your employees to have?
Well, yeah, and that's a good one. We do offer on-the-job training. It really depends on what position people are wanting to apply for. Obviously, if a person wants to start as a welder or do welding, then they need to go to a welding school to come in. Machinists, we do a lot of on-the-job training right now. We have people going through machining courses. Engineering, you saw Kobe from an engineering intern. We've also had many interns. People in accounting, we've had people as interns. So we do both. It really depends on what area somebody wants to get into.
And then we also offer tuition assistance, so that anyone that does come in that may not be fully qualified, we can help them actually achieve whatever goals they have planned.
Yeah, Colby would be a great example. He's going through, and we're doing tuition assistance for him as he's going through school. I also have a couple of graduate engineers went through OSU, and once again, they went through on the tuition assistance program.
Okay, I think you answered actually within that a couple of other questions that we had dealing with positions within the business. Someone else have a question they'd like to ask? Either ask it verbally or write it in the chat.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I'm a machine shop instructor down here in Central Oklahoma at CV Tech. And I was just curious, what is your thoughts on your machinists when they're prepared from a tech center? Would you want them more manually experienced or CNC experienced?
I would say more CNC than manual. We do have some manual machinists, but if I took up the ratios between manuals to the CNCs, you're looking at about 10 to 1 on the CNC experience. And the other thing that we're going to be putting in probably in the next month or two is Haas has come out with a brand new machine that's got a robot integrated with it. And so we're going to be doing more and more robotics. We're going to be moving heavily into robotics.
So are you going to try to do like UMC 500, 5-axis stuff, or?
We don't do a lot of 5, but it'll be more 4-axis type stuff, 3 and 4-axis with the robot loading and unloading, but not as much 5.
Gotcha. Programming experience?
Programming experience is nice. One of the things, and even on the manual machinist, having some manual experience is great for setup operators, because this way they can go through and have that experience to pull back on. But in terms of programming, it's definitely a big help, because Jeff Wolf, the gentleman that you saw in the video, he does a great job of programming everything, but sometimes the guys need to be able to make minor tweaks on the floor to make sure the parts are right.
And really the way everything lays out is the more that a person can bring to the table and the more they're able to do, the more they get paid. So the more rounded they have, back in the days, I started running lathes and mill when I was 11. The joke always was, my father said, this is in California, if the state comes in the front door, you go out the back door. So, but yeah, learning, at that time, we used high-speed steel. I ground my own tools, you did everything manually today. But I still use that information today, stuff that I learned a long, long time ago, for speeds and feeds and drilling and when guys are doing stuff. It's really good information. And the other thing is how to measure.
Mm-hmm. So on your programming, do y'all do the hand programming G-code, or do you use like a Mastercam, Fusion 360?
So we use CamWorks for 99% of our programming. We do some hand programming on some of the lathes, but it's mostly CamWorks.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I think somebody asked about how long it takes to build a saw, and it's going to depend on the model of saw
and the complexity.
Yeah, a small machine, one of those little H90 you saw, after it's machined. Now the machining time on that, you've got between machining and welding, that alone can take anywhere from say 7 to 10 days to get all the parts from raw material through. Assembly time on a machine like that, you're looking at about 20 hours. Now you can take one of our big complex machines. We did something for the trailer industry, and these were enormous. It was a $1 million machine, and that machine there took about 7-8 months.
It took about 6 months from start to finish, and then about 2 months for runoff and testing.
Yeah.
Okay, question from Michaela is, my students are curious on where you sell most of your saws and what they use them for.
Okay, yeah. As far as where we sell them, our primary markets are Canada, the US, and Mexico, but we have our equipment all around the world. We have equipment in Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan,
Japan.
A lot of them in Japan. There's some in Korea, South America, Colombia, Venezuela, and it just goes on and on and on. In the Middle East, we've got them all over the world. We're a world brand. I was in, but before COVID, I traveled quite a bit overseas, and our equipment is known all around the world.
In terms of the industries that we get into, some of the ones that we mentioned earlier, automotive, oil and gas. Then we get into some aerospace applications where they're cutting up materials for aircraft. We also get into applications that are extremely customized. The trailer industry was a great example of that. They wanted a fully automated piece of equipment for cutting the raw stock on trailers.
Yeah, and we also are involved in a small line of machine. We have a partner out of Italy that builds them. We work back and forth with them. That one's used for the home hobbyist. I actually do a television program called Sam's Garage. My hobby is our automobiles. And we'll use the saw on the program as we're building some vintage cars. We've got This next season, I'm not going to do the last half. This first half, I can't really do. I've got some personal issues that are interfering with it, but we're going to be doing a really, really neat build, taking it's basically a Datsun chassis, Ferrari body, building a Ford stroker motor for it, 5-speed transmission, race suspension, and we're doing all that on TV. And we'll be using a lot of our products as we do that.
Gentlemen, this is Arthur with Mid-America.
Hi, Art. Go right ahead.
You said you were going to start using robotics more heavily in your production line. Do you have a vendor of robotics that you're using that you intend to continue to use?
Currently, the robot that is integrated with the Haas equipment is a Fanuc. We do have one other Fanuc robot that we're in the process of getting laid out. We're just in the infancy of the robotic side. That's, as of right now, the ones we're looking at are just the Escawa Motoman, the Kuka, and the Fanuc. Those are primary 3 that we're looking at for the industrial side. If we go collaborative, universal robotics.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but that's going to be a huge push for us now. It's going to be inside of the robotics. We really see that as the future of where manufacturing's going. And as I tell my employees, it's not to replace them, it's to enhance what they're doing. This allows us to do a lot more. And the other thing, we are the last major American bandsaw builder here in the U.S. There was one other company, they were sold to the Japanese. It's being slowly killed off. And so we're the last one, and we've got to make sure that we can remain competitive in the world market. So we have to be outside the box. So one of the things that I continually challenge my people is how do we do things different? Just because we did it in the past does not mean we're going to do that in the future. We've got to be outside the box. We've got to be a leader, not a follower.
Thank you.
Do you recognize industry credentials that give an applicant a leg up?
Yes, absolutely. If people have gone through a program and have certifications, there's multiple programs are out there. Matter of fact, I was right before this, I was just on LinkedIn, the gentleman, Titan Gilroy with Titan, who has a lot of training programs. I was just exchanging messages with him, and we'll be getting together with him, and that's through workshop, through Warriors. So, we've also done a tremendous amount with, which you saw on side the video. So yeah, if a person comes in with credentials, the huge leg up, a large difference in starting pay, what their capabilities are, because they've gone through these certifications.
And that even holds true even on the IT side of things. An IT personnel doesn't necessarily need to be a graduate from college. Just having the certifications is a huge, huge leg up.
How many non-manufacturing positions do you have? For example, HR, accounting, marketing, that type of thing.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 2/3 manufacturing, 1/3 non. So we have regional sales positions. We've got salesmen are located all around the country. We have servicemen located all around the country. We have accounting, HR, purchasing, advertising in each one of those areas. So I would imagine about 2/3 in the heavy manufacturing, a third doing other.
Okay. Have you had to make any changes due to COVID? You mentioned COVID.
Oh boy, yeah. We're all faced with that. Perfect example. I do more Zoom meetings now than I've ever done, and it's good and bad. And I mean, the good news is it's real easy. Like now, we can be talking to everybody across the state. That's a wonderful thing. And the bad is I'm not there to personally interact. Or it's a different type of interaction. I'm old school, so I like one-to-one. I like to be able to see the body language, see what people are doing. But inside of, obviously, if somebody's tested positive and around somebody that's positive, we're doing everything that we can to keep our employees safe. We can control what they do at work. We can't control what they do at home. And so we adjust.
Okay. This is Fred Sullivan out here at Kiamichi Technology Center in Stigler. I do the construction program out here. Are you guys, bandsaws, are you guys in the forestry industry? Are you dealing with lumber at all?
You know, we're really not. We've been tasked with many times would we get into that type of industry. Our biggest concern in that type of industry, quite frankly, is product liability. In a lot of the service industry where they take large lumber and they go ahead and they plank it and they move it, their safety record for a lot of years was just terrible. And especially since we're in a litigious society, we've stayed away from it. And it's just for those reasons. We've done a lot of safety measures inside of our equipment to make sure people can't get hurt. But the wood industry is a lot different. And I'm not sure from a company standpoint how to protect ourselves in it. So we've stayed away.
Thank you very much.
There's one other question in the chat, and it asks, what's the biggest challenge you face in filling your workforce needs?
Oh boy, that's a very, very good question. And the reason that I say that, and for a lot of the young people, they won't know what it means, but I'm a baby boomer, and a baby boomer means generally our parents went to World War II, et cetera, and they came back. You know, they call them the greatest generation. And so it was a tremendous amount of work ethic. So I grew up with a very, very strong work ethic, and I made sure that I instilled in my children when they were in middle school. They were in here mopping floors and picking stuff up, doing janitorial work. The biggest thing that I see right now, the huge challenges is we'll have people that will set appointments to come on up and to come in for a job interview. Out of, say, 10 people that set up an appointments, we only get 2 to 3 that'll actually show. And the other thing that we've seen that's been difficult is people will come in and they don't really have much work ethic. I had one individual that started. The first week she started, she asked for 2 days off, some personal matters. The second week she showed up twice. The third week we had to let her go because she said, we hired you to fill a position. And she was surprised we were letting her go. She didn't realize that showing up for the job was part of what she had to fulfill. And so it's been a real challenge from that aspect. There's been and I really appreciate there are a lot of classes that we're seeing now in high school working with kids saying, if you're going to apply for a job, dress nice, show up. If you get a job, make sure you're there every day, listen, be attentive. So you guys are really trying to address the problems that we see. Also, we realize now it's a bit different. People, their time off is very, very valuable to them. So one of the things that we've done inside of the company, I used to pay people if they could turn in their vacation time. Now I force them to take it. I'd rather have people take time away so they had time for themselves. Because what I found is a lot of my employees just wanted to cash in their vacation and make the extra money. And then they were complaining they were working too much. So now I force them to take time. And so, yeah, it's been a real difference. HR's really had to deal with it. The industrial parks had to deal with it differently on how do you attract people? How do you make sure they have the right type of work ethics? How do you get them to stay? And what we can do to keep the employees and to keep a satisfied workforce.
So I have a question. So I teach machine shop, like I said, and one of the biggest problems I see is Walmart and 7-Eleven pay so high. How do y'all combat that with an entry-level machinist to get them to stay there and to work? Because it's hard, because like they pay like $15 an hour at Walmart to stock shelves. I don't have to worry about messing up or scrapping apart. I need to stock shelves all night, is their mentality as a student. So I'm trying to combat that to get them to you guys to make parts.
My highest paid guy in my machine shop as a machinist made $72,000 last year. So what it is it's a road to get up and to make more money very quickly. If a person comes in and they have good credentials, they may start at $15 an hour, and I don't start anybody, including floor sweepers, under 14 an hour. So I make sure that they move up the ladder. If they put forth the effort, they're going to go ahead and do it. The other thing that we have is we have a matching 401k up to 4% of their standard wages. It's a way for them to get extra money on top of that. Plus, you take a look at the health, the dental, and all of the other things that we provide. So when you take a look at the total package, it's a good package. And as you saw people inside of the videos, if you're a seasoned machinist, you're making over 20 bucks an hour. And you can start making, nothing makes me happier when I show up and I see a whole bunch of new vehicles at my plant, because I know my people are being taken care of. And then you start tying in overtime into it, and they can make really good money. So if you got somebody that's making 20 bucks an hour, and now right now in my machine shop, I'm pushing a lot of overtime. Once they're on overtime, now they're suddenly pulling 30 bucks an hour. So that's how we combat it. Now, if you don't pay them, you don't take care of them, you're going to lose them. And we pay them, and we take care of them.
Yep, that's what I see in some of the industry down, in my area. It's like, it's hard to, when you don't pay them, it's hard to keep those good people that they want.
Yeah, we pay them. Now, I will say, if I pay somebody, I expect them to work. I had one of my guys that's getting ready for retirement here in a year or two, and I put him on a machine that, really taxing them to work. And he said, Doug, I'm getting close to retirement. I don't want to work this hard. And I said, I understand. And you can work half speed, and I'll just pay you half pay. And he didn't think that was a good solution. And I said, what am I going to do? Tell my customers that I'm going to raise the price of your equipment so I can support Joe over here? And he said, no, I understand. And, and we are not a shop that you get paid more because you've been here longer. You get paid more because you produce and you'll learn more. And those people we signal out. Jeff, who you saw that runs my East facility, he started on the floor as a machinist. And now he runs the facilities. He kept saying, what can I learn? What can I do? How can I be better?
Okay, do we have any other questions? We have a little bit of time left. If not, Scott, could you have some closing words?
Sure. Thank you, Delbo. So it's my honor to get to announce the winner of the $50 gift card. But before I do, and to just kind of prolong the suspense here, I just want to say thank you to HIMSAW's team, Doug and Max. The video was fantastic, and be remiss if I didn't recognize Alan Yarborough, who shot and edited a lot of that video. It was really good. What I enjoyed about it was the employee perspectives, right? And I think that's what this is all about, is so that we understand of what the opportunities that exist for our young people here in their backyard. But I think the video demonstrated what a great company that HIMSAW is and the impact that they're having, not only here locally, but across the world. And if you think about it, they are the start of a lot of products that are manufactured in the U.S. and other countries through their saws. And so we're proud of them. I know they're very proud of their product. They're a great company. They're at our side and helping us with our different initiatives. And so, again, just a big thank you to them for everything that they do. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just because it's a great story. You all saw the video. I want to just have Alan share something that happened when he did the video for the football.
Oh, well, thanks, Doug. Now it's going to be all over the internet.
That's all right. It's worthwhile.
If you remember in the video, in the opening scene, there was a Friday Night Lights football game, and that was Pryor High School. And I thought it'd be clever to show, where we live and where we watch football and what we do. So I took our drone out to the game, and I didn't go over the stands or the stadium. I just wanted to get a little footage. And all of a sudden, as I was filming, the teams went to the sidelines. And I thought, oh, it must be a timeout. Well, then the referees came out, pointed up in the sky. The announcer came on and said, "There's a drone. The game has been suspended until the drone leaves the area." So I frantically flew the drone out of the area, hopped in my car, and left as quickly as possible and lived to tell about it. So that's the story behind that little section of the video where the Friday night football game is playing. Do not fly a drone anywhere near a high school football game is my takeaway.
Yeah, we didn't know any of that. Obviously, we didn't mean any harm, but when he told me that, I just laughed hysterical because that was one of the things we just wanted a little. I said it'd be great to have an intro, the American, mid-America football, et cetera, et cetera. And then when he came back, it was like, oh my God! But to me, it's comical. We weren't trying to create any harm for anybody, and I had no idea how people were going to react. But it's an interesting story.
The cows didn't care in your video. I appreciate that.
It's true. All right. So with that, the winner of the $50 gift card is Gayla Miller from Welch Public Schools. So if everybody give her a digital round of applause. And so thank you again, Dubbo. Appreciate the opportunity to highlight one of our businesses and look forward to attending more of these sessions as they're put out each month.
All right, Scott, thank you so much. And Himsall, you guys are the bomb. You did a great job, and we appreciate this information and what you do for Oklahoma students and for Oklahoma citizens. We just appreciate all that you do. And for participating.
I sincerely mean it. If there's anything that we can ever do for any one of you, please reach out. We'd be more than happy to help any way possible. And I really mean that sincerely.
Okay, now do you provide tours to high school groups?
Yes, we do.
Or to school groups?
Yes, yeah, we do that all the time. Before COVID, we were touring people all the time through the facility where they could really get a chance to see everything.
All right. Well, congratulations to Gayla Miller and the Welch Wildcats. That's where Gayla is a teacher and her students were listening. Give a shout out to them. We had the Gans Grizzlies and the Fort Supply Bulldogs, the seventh graders from Fort Supply. And we appreciate, I think Gans was having a little bit of an audio issue, but we're sending them the YouTube link so they can get onto that later. But we would like to have more and more students. So teachers, if you'd like for your classes to participate, I believe that Kara put the link to our past YouTube videos, to our past OEIPs on there. I think there's 17 or 18 videos. Is that right? Team? Okay. And so if you'd like to access that, just copy that link and share it. Thank you again, Himsall, for presenting today, and Scott for your support from Mid-America Industrial Park and helping us to make this happen. Be sure and watch for our next OEIP. It's scheduled for Tuesday, February 23rd from 11 to noon, and the registration will be out on the ODCTE website soon. This concludes, unless anyone else has a comment, this concludes our OEIP for January 2021. We thank you for your participation and for your support. Have a great day.